So the much awaited Maruti Suzuki Brezza is around the corner. It's going to be launched very soon. And to talk about the very, very popular SUV, we have Mr. Shashank Srivastava, Senior Executive Director, Marketing and Sales, Maruti Suzuki. Thank you, sir, again for giving us the time.
Thank you.
Sir, so let's dive into it straight away. We all know that the compact SUV segment is one of the hottest segments in the market right now. So I know it'll be a bit of a redundant question, but how important is this segment for you, and what are the sort of market share you're looking at?
Yeah, so as you rightly pointed out, the entry SUV segment is a very hot segment. When the Brezza was introduced in 2016 March, in that year, 2015-16 financial year, this segment was just 5% of the market. And last year, 21-22, it became almost 22% of the market. In fact, the largest segment across the industry is now the compact SUV segment. So it's a very important segment for any OEM to operate in from a market share perspective. And we have currently in the compact SUV segment market share of close to 20%, which we hope to increase with the new Brezza.
Sir, Maruti Suzuki, in many ways, they have also been the trendsetter in this segment. When diesel demand was like skyrocketing, you only had a diesel model. Now it is all petrol. Can we also see a CNG version coming in?
You are right on the diesel front. This segment, people used to say in SUV, diesel cannot be replaced. And 2015-16, almost 80% of the market of a compact SUV was diesel. Petrol was just 20%. But last year, if you see the actual number, the fortune seems to have reversed. 80% was petrol and about 21% was diesel. So clearly the situation has changed. Of course, Brezza is partly responsible for it because it sort of anticipated this change. It can be converted to petrol. The new Brezza the Brezza has the 1.5 liter engine, which is great for performance. Most of the competitor products in this segment have a 1.2 or a 1 liter engine. So this is in that sense also gives that added power which consumers want in this segment. So yes, petrol has changed. Talking of CNG, we will not have the CNG version at the moment, at the time of introduction of the new Brezza. And the reason for that is that we have seen the CNG demand skyrocketing in those models where we already have the CNG. So we have a total portfolio of 15 vehicles, 9 of which have CNG. So we were planning to have new models with CNG. But unfortunately, because of the supply side constraint, we have stopped adding new models of CNG in our portfolio because we have a long waiting for CNG vehicles for the models where we have the CNG version.
So we did try to get that information out, and it's not a definite no. So yeah. Sir, the other thing is you're also introducing your brand new automatic gearbox. Previously, you had the 4-speed one. What is the numbers you see, the demand in automatics in this segment?
So currently, the demand for automatic transmission is about 6%. So it's 94 manual, 6% this thing. Of course, the trend in the tier 1 cities and in the some of the larger category cars in the bigger segment seem to be towards the increase in usage of automatic transmission. So we do see that market to evolve in that direction, especially when you see the congestion on the roads increasing and the relative ease of driving, which is enabled by the use of AT. So it should increase. But currently, it is around that 5-6%.
So the other thing about Brezza is, of course, it was the market leader, and also during that time, it evolved in many different ways and offered that radical customization options, which again, took the market again by the storm. So is it something that we can look forward to?
Yes, absolutely, because that trend continues in the market. The increased personalization that is expected by the consumers has remained, and that will be addressed continually by the new Brezza as well. So we will have the dual tone, we will have the configurator, we will have the options given to consumers for different levels of accessorization, and that personalization the trend remains in the market, and the new Brezza continues with that trend.
You also announced today the booking of the new Brezza, and also you mentioned that there is still a backlog, like all the companies are facing. So, what would be the realistic waiting period, and how do you tackle this situation?
So at the moment, we have 20,000 plus bookings for the existing Brezza. As I said, we are doing about 10,000 a month. So straight away, by simple calculation, it seems to be a 2 month plus waiting period at the moment. This can come down because we are trying to increase the production also beyond the levels of 10,000 per month that we currently have. But of course, it all depends on the inflow of bookings as well. So we'll have to wait and see what the inflow of bookings is and how much production we can increase to arrive at the waiting period. At the moment, the waiting period seems to be 2 months plus.
You also are in the forefront when it comes to technology. You came up with the mild hybrid. So anything in the future that we can look at, because we all know that your tie-up with Toyota gives you a really massive advantage over others. So anything we can expect?
Yes, so we have announced that the EVs, and the question on EVs is asked very often. We will be introducing by 2025, and we have also said that the road to electric vehicles is through electrification, which is through hybrid vehicles. So at the moment, as you have rightly mentioned, we have the smart hybrid system, the ISS, which is the intermediate start-stop. You have the torque assist, which is giving us the more fuel efficiency. The new Brezza has a fuel efficiency of 20 kilometers to the liter, which is phenomenal, I would say. Much more than the 17 it was giving the current Brezza, which was also, by the way, the class leading. So those things will continue. And what I think you are asking is whether there will be a next level up to strong hybrids. So I think going forward, we will look at those options when we are expanding our portfolio. And definitely, we would like to talk about it once we finalize our plans in that respect.
We've also been seeing a series of price hikes due to external reasons and geopolitical situation. Also, we all know about it. So, how does a manufacturer, and this is like across the board, so how do you face that challenge? Because you are forced to increase because of the components and prices shoot up.
Absolutely. So that's very challenging, and you are so right when you ask this question, because that's a central a problem which OEMs have been facing the last couple of years. So while we have a lack of supply on one side, so there is enough demand compared to the supply. However, we also see that on the supply side, the commodity prices have been increasing dramatically, and that has resulted in a large impact on the overall cost structure of auto OEMs. For auto OEMs, 75 to 77% of the cost structure is actually material cost. So changes in commodity prices affects the material cost drastically, and therefore has put in pressure on the profitability. That's one reason why periodically we have been increasing the prices in the last couple of years. However, the increase which we have done is much lower than what the commodity price hike has been. Even though in the recent few weeks you would have seen some softening in terms of the price of steel, or for example, the rare metals, or copper, aluminum. However, when you compare with a year and a half back, they are still substantially higher. So we have passed only a part of that cost increase to the consumers, and that has resulted in the profitability being affected. Hopefully, as we go ahead, we hope that this cost will come down. There is a cycle for commodities, although we are not really sure when that's going to happen. We cannot really increase the price all the time in response to commodity price increases, because we also have to take care of the top line. So in a market like this, maybe the volumes would get affected if you hike prices too much. On the other hand, you also look at the bottom line. You can't just look at the top line. So you need to have a balance. That's what we try to do, and what we have done in the past year and a half or two.
So just last question, and this is about your rivals. They all have various petrol engine options. You have stuck to your tried and tested, naturally aspirated one, while others have turbo petrols. So do you see that as an advantage for you, or is it something you do plan to look into?
So the future powertrain options which we will have, we will be able to tell you only as time, because I'm not allowed to talk about that in specific terms. However, the Brezza, for example, the current Brezza with the 1.5 liter engine is, I believe, ideal category. If people are looking for smooth performance, and the larger engine provides that. And therefore, I believe it's an ideal choice. And that's one reason why, despite the market getting fragmented with a large number of new entrants, the Brezza still remains firmly in its it's in the top position since its launch. Last year, in fact, we sold 115,000 vehicles, almost 10,000 per month, which is pretty large for a vehicle which has been introduced 6 years earlier. So we believe we have got the powertrain combination right. There is also a good thing about the fuel type combination that could be ideal. So we are looking at all those aspects, and when we have finalized our plans both on the powertrain as well as on the fuel type, we will definitely let you know.
So thank you again. Thank you so much for taking the time out, and all the best for the Brezza.
Thank you very much, Arup. Pleasure talking to you.
As always, sir.